Pokemon X and Y, one of the weirdest parts of the game was going inside of the haunted house. Your friends all told you about how they all knew about this creepy house, and that you should all go visit it. Not only was it a haunted house, but the surrounding environment leading up to it was freaky as well. Especially the psycho trainers you run into on the way there. From what we know about creepy areas in Pokemon, we really shouldn't even be going inside of this haunted house in the first place. However, it's one of those parts of the games that you have no choice but to do it. It leads me to believe that this part of the game might just have a deeper meaning to it. Something that the developers wanted everyone that played the game to know about. Once inside, the gang is greeted by a creepy old man, standing all by himself in this empty house. Did he know we were coming, or is this just a hobby of his? Upon seeing us, he begins telling us a really weird story. The story goes, it was a dark and stormy night many years ago. Lost, I arrived at this house and went inside. The lights would not turn on, so I fearfully looked around the house. Eventually, I made my way in the kitchen. There was no sign of anyone being there. I found the fridge, and when I opened it, a faint light leaked out. I could finally make out my surroundings, and I saw the faint outline of a man huddling in the corner of the room. I tried to tell him that I was lost, and I was hoping that he'd let me stay until morning. But when I approached him, the man suddenly screamed, "Stay back!" I apologized and continued to plead my case. "Please, can't you help me?" "I'm not talking to you," he shouted. I looked at the man in surprise. When I did this, the man asked me, "Can't you see them behind you?" "A horde of faceless men." After he tells you all this, he simply asks for a tip, and we move on with the game. But could there actually be more to this story than the game lets on? Who is the old man, and why is he living in this creepy house? Is he possibly a ghost? Who are the faceless men he mentions in the story? I've been thinking about this since my visit to the haunted house. The first thing I noticed was when the old man would tell you the story, the camera would take an odd angle and move, as if something was wriggling down from the ceiling. The entire time you feel like you're being watched, and the house is very dark as well. The camera moves in a serpent-like manner. Whatever it is, scares people with the horde of faceless men. Hordes of wild Pokemon were introduced in this game, and each horde could have up to 5 Pokemon in it. So that tells us that the horde of faceless men could have up to 5 members involved to be a horde. With those clues, it hit me as soon as I saw it. Zygarde. Zygarde has those 5 things around its neck, with 2 green scales each placed symmetrically to the other, which in the dark would look exactly like 5 or a horde of faceless men. It is said that Zygarde is always watching and waiting. His Pokédex entry even states that it's hypothesized that it's monitoring those who would destroy the ecosystem from deep within a cave where it lives. So maybe it was inside of the haunted house watching us, and watching the man as well for all those years. What does Zygarde do with those who he finds would hurt the ecosystem though? My guess would be he adds them to his collection of faceless men, by stealing their souls. But who knows for sure, Zygarde is still a very new and mysterious Pokemon to us. Not much is known about him yet, but I hope they give us more information about Zygarde in the future, whether it be in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, or Pokemon Z, if there ever will be one. What do you guys think the old man's story really means? Let me know in a comment. I'll see you guys in the next video.